As far as my thoughts on SNEAKO, just initially before we even watched the video, I ain't gonna lie, I'm coming from a place of disappointment. He was one of the few people that was gaining a really, really big following off of making artistic content that was damn near pushing the boundaries of what a YouTube video could be. But this latest pivot that he had, it really started with streaming. And I think SNEAKO is a person that he has a lot of thoughts in his head. And I think the reason why his videos did so well was because he had a lot of thoughts in his head, and he would spend time, you know, constructing a video, spend time, you know, it would be months, if not weeks, creating that next upload, and it would just be a beautiful masterpiece of everything he's talking about in his head. But when it comes to live streaming, because everything is live, because you don't have time to prep and tell your story properly, that's when you get a person like SNEAKO who's very opinionated and just says a lot of shit in trouble, because everything is just coming at you left and right. You know what I'm saying? Not that I know, but I could just see it in the content that he was making and just the things he was talking about. By the tail end of when he was just a YouTuber and wasn't live streaming, you could really tell that he was spending a lot of time on these videos. It was kind of like me at the end of my NBA YouTube journey, where it felt like I was putting so much effort into these videos and not getting the financial return that I needed from it, right? So when it goes to live streaming and you're getting all these super chat, all these live viewerships, he starts clipping his content and starts premiering them, and he's getting super chats and memberships from that, getting AdSense revenue from that, etc., etc. It feeds that dopamine. It fed that dopamine boost that he was looking for. And I think SNEAKO is a smart enough creator to know what is going to generate clicks, what's going to keep his career going. And I do think SNEAKO is one of those people that I don't see him ever getting a 9-to-5. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to ride or die on this content creator hill. And not to say that he doesn't believe everything that what he just said, but I feel like it's kind of like two things can be true in the sense of he's saying things that he'll make himself believe for the sake of the content that he's making. And he found the pivot. He found the perfect pivot that not only took his career to the next level, but also extended his career by another couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I think by the tail end of YouTube's cinematic journey is what I'm gonna just call it. You can feel, or I felt like you could feel that the end was kind of like the boundaries of what he was doing was being pushed. So what's that pivot that's gonna make me last longer? What's that pivot that's gonna make me reach newer heights? And he found it with the live streaming shit. He found it with the red pill shit. He found it with the social commentary, and I'm gonna just say leeching off of Andrew Tate's hype. He found it. He found it. So let's go ahead and react to the video.
The internet's current most hated person, SNEAKO.
Wake up call. You're dumb. You're a dummy. This shit you consume is making you stupid. Stop it. Stop it right now. You sound dumb and nobody wants to tell you you are dumb.
This man did the respected content creator to clowned conspiracy theorist with no future speedrun, and he set the record, beating everyone else by a country mile. From grinding out YouTube for almost a decade, creating thought-provoking videos, growing as a human alongside an audience who truly appreciated him, to being banned from all platforms that could pave the way to a lucrative future on social media. And it's entirely his fault. So why does everyone hate SNEAKO?
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
Recent drama aside, which we will get into a little later, SNEAKO has been on a destructive path for a real long time. He had a David versus Goliath battle for his entire teenage and young adult life. It was SNEAKO versus his ego, and his ego was constantly being fed with his social media success. Despite that, as a teenager, He seemed completely self-aware.
So I want you to try this. Tomorrow, go about your day and refrain from speaking until spoken to. Shut your mouth once in a while and listen, but try to do this without looking like an emo 14-year-old. This whole self-reflection process for me is about how people perceive me.
SNEAKO, as not only a creator but as a human being, was in a perfect position in life at this time. He was earning YouTube checks each month that grew alongside him.
What disappointed me too, I don't even think he's outright just said it. And maybe he's not. But when I saw him, I'm like, yo, this is a Filipino YouTuber that's popping. Like, for real popping. So on that front, like, I was hyped for him just off of that alone. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's a lot of Filipino representation within content creation right now. Specifically in the American scene. You know, I think there's definitely Filipino YouTubers popping in the Philippines. But specifically in America, he was one of the few. One of the few. And he's been doing it before Bella Porch and Valkyrie popped off. So, he was one of the OG Filipinos popping on the platform for real. Assuming he's Filipino. I don't know if he actually is.
He wasn't afraid to be himself. He had a swagger that came with seeing such praise at a young age. And he was even good friends with YouTube superstars like Mr. Beast, a guy who sincerely believed in him and picked SNEAKO to be a top YouTuber alongside him when asked to rank the up-and-comers.
At number 2, I have SNEAKO, and if you've ever seen SNEAKO's videos, you realize that they're kind of addicting. Once you start watching them, it's kind of hard to stop.
They were growing on this platform together all the way, and while Mr. Beast was outpacing SNEAKO, he didn't forget about his friend. He even offered him a job to come work on the viral videos, an invaluable experience that anybody would be lucky to have. Unfortunately, this was the first sign of SNEAKO's ego being too out of control to let a great thing happen.
I messed up a working relationship with both Mr. Beast and Keemstar. Both of them, they were fans of my videos and subsequently gave me a job. But I just couldn't get over the fact that I was working for them instead of with them. With Mr. Beast,
bro had the Kobe syndrome. That shit is crazy, man.
It was crazy because I knew him for years. He was always commenting, encouraging me, saying positive things. He would pass me, I would pass him. And then out of nowhere, he blew up. It really just tested my ego.
After SNEAKO quit, he posted a video trying to expose Mr. Beast by cashing in on his friend's name, burning a bridge that was built out of nothing but good intentions. SNEAKO came to his senses and removed this exposed video within minutes, and later explained that he fucked up. His ego just couldn't handle playing second fiddle to anybody. He needed to be the main attraction, the main event. As he grew older, this only got worse. He started to embody the characteristics that younger SNEAKO would have hated. I mean, his 16-year-old self was more intelligent than he was now, and he literally warned himself this was going to happen.
What's going to happen is you're going to hear small compliments that completely elevate your confidence from what it is now to McConaughey status, which is a good thing until it crosses that line from confidence to arrogance.
I'm gonna be honest though, someone made this claim on YouTube, like a whole video about it, and I low-key agree. I low-key agree. I'm not saying they're similar from like a fame standpoint or even a significant standpoint on the platform, but SNEAKO is really the Kanye of YouTube. If you really think about it, you know what I'm saying? That person that was highly relatable, on his come up, made really groundbreaking, boundary pushing artistic content, and then as he grew on the platform, as he grew a creator, it looked like he was doing shit that you just never thought he would. You know what I'm saying? He met with Kanye too, by the way. Yeah, I remember that too. But yeah, he's doing shit that you never thought that he would just ever do. Given his background. But I think it's just a matter of like, y'all just made too many assumptions on his background just off of these videos. But
facts.
Not
so
only
it's
was
literally
it becoming
typing
obvious that
SNEAKO Kanye
didn't hear
YouTube.
himself,
See how many videos are
but he
there.
was on track to go beyond the point.
There's
of
one
no
specifically,
return
I think it's
without
Ryan
stopping
NG
to ever
films.
reflect.
Narcissism is just belief in yourself. People called Kanye a narcissist his whole career. He's one of the most successful people in America. He's a billionaire.
Calamity, I've heard that too, man.
Chicago. Narcissism
Kick might
is just
actually be
belief
viewed
in
by him.
yourself.
At this stage, SNEAKO started to trade up his content style from what got him noticed in the first place to what was going to get him to that next stage of popularity. He sold out. introspection, videos with meaning, substance, these things no longer mattered. But this isn't the worst thing in the world. We all change, and sometimes so does your content. So SNEAKO made the 1 Minute Podcast.
We're in West 4th Street Station once again, and I'm asking people about the they, them pronouns, about gender, trans, all that stuff, because everybody's putting it in their bio. It's like the standard to have your pronouns in your bio. Let's talk about it. What was the last racist thought you had? Don't lie, don't lie. You say it, I'll say it.
Taking his charisma and relatability
That's
to
so
the
crazy,
streets,
dog.
giving hot button topics to the masses, and letting them just speak their mind was straight fire content, while not long enough to have a nuanced take.
I'll give him this. This shit was perfect for TikTok though, and YouTube. To have a video literally where the whole premise is just 1 minute interviews, like, and that's like a fire YouTube video in and of itself, and then you make it so that every single interview ends up being a TikTok. That shit is genius though, like for real.
It was interesting to hear what the average person thought about topics that were usually debated only on the internet. Due to this, his numbers started to skyrocket. Realistically, this content was tailor-made to SNEAKO. It played on all his strengths, and now he was doing less work, gaining more eyeballs, more money, and most importantly, more of an ego boost. Then the lockdowns began, and this made his content almost impossible to do. But that wasn't the biggest issue. SNEAKO didn't see his long-term girlfriend for 3 weeks, and that was enough time for him to cheat on her during the quarantines in New York. Not only did he do this, but he then FaceTime called her and recorded the whole thing for a YouTube video, calling it an interview. This video was posted online like any old regular vlog.
Did she know?
It was totally normal to do.
Come on, man. You can't wait 2 weeks. I mean, you cannot wait 3 weeks, 1 month.
I did wait 3 weeks. That's what I said. Like, after 3 weeks, it's like, it's time to
You waited only 3 weeks?
And it's important to know, SNEAKO's girlfriend at the time
was
a regular on his YouTube channel, meaning his audience was familiar with and liked her. This comment section was likely one of the first in his whole career that was mostly shitting on him as a person. Prior to that, except for the Mr. Beast video that he pulled down before things could really build, his audience mostly loved what he was doing and gave him constant praise. This video though was completely contradictory to how he sold his personality to people for half a decade. People grew up with SNEAKO, people loved his videos and they thought they knew who he was. So when this came out, they were unhappy with him. One comment though really got SNEAKO up in his feelings.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all, this is a dude who uploads, I don't know, once every 2 weeks. And I think it's important to understand that you only get to see the sides of content creators that they want you to see. You know what I'm saying? And what they allow you to see might not even be them for real. And I think that's exactly how and why people were surprised and shocked when he started live streaming and showing off his personality, because, and that's also what's so special about live streaming, it's hard to fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're live for 3 to 5 hours, it's hard to fake the funk. It's hard to script everything. It's hard to be... Shout out to Lonely State for subscribing. It's hard to really have more... To control what your perception is going to be. Not that it's impossible. I will say that. Not that it's impossible. But it's just harder. It's just harder. And I think people have made the comment that, yo, SNEAKO, he's faking everything right now. I don't think he is, to be honest with you. This is just who he is. And y'all just didn't know until y'all knew. So.
What's up, bro? What's up? I want to fight him, but I don't. No, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to hit him. I wouldn't want to punch this guy in the face.
This was the first video.
And the fact that he looks
I remember he got a lot of flack.
A TikTok Lil Tecca. Not even just the fact that he dresses like Ellen, just his voice, his face.
Fellow YouTuber D'Angelo Wallace made this throwaway comment, essentially calling SNEAKO a hoe for cheating on his girl. SNEAKO fired back with a 30-minute unhinged rant video. And you'll notice a trend here
I remember
in SNEAKO's behavior
I remember this video.
If you have
right
followed the recent dramas. D'Angelo didn't reply to this
also,
at all.
Hopefully D'Angelo Wallace is doing well. I don't know. He just kind of disappeared off Earth. I remember the last video he made. It He was talking about how he has mental health issues, like for real, and like the internet being too much for him. But D'Angelo Wallace, Cardiac knows, I see you in the chat. D'Angelo Wallace, like his first year on YouTube or wherever the fuck, like he started blowing up. That was a hell of a run. Like for real, that was a hell of a run. And like he started a second channel that ended up being Twitch clips. And he was just so well with it that the numbers looked exactly the same on his main channel and his clips channel. Like just from a numbers perspective and building an audience, D'Angelo Wallace was that guy for real. But yeah, I don't know, man. Hopefully he's doing well. I also wonder like what he's doing to sustain a living. Like, did he just make enough money within that time span to, you know, coast for like a legit 3 to 4 years, or like, I don't know. Is he living with his parents again, or I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested to hear that content though, or that background. Excuse me.
All he just let it be, but that didn't stop SNEAKO. He continued to stalk D'Angelo's videos and clown him in a one-sided beef, screaming into the void, alienating the remaining introspective portion of his audience, picking on anything that he could. His looks, his sexual orientation, his mental health struggles, all because this guy said SNEAKO's for the streets for cheating on his girlfriend. This was cultivating a new, more edgy and larger in number audience who loved SNEAKO just going wild, talking his shit, getting crazy. And they were getting plenty of this, as even a single offhand comment or a single opinion against that of his own was enough to make SNEAKO lose his shit.
Like this washed up, antidepressant, unfunny, fat piece of shit are celebrating it.
And as you would have guessed, it was never highbrow disagreement. In fact, SNEAKO's entire shtick is screaming loudly with ad hominem attacks about whatever he is himself the most insecure about, making a habit to go after people based on their looks, because his own biggest insecurity for most of his life has been his own looks.
It's how insecure I became. For all I know, I could be ugly as sin. I have no idea. You know, lanky like me, we just get comments from our relatives saying that we need to eat more. Then I went through puberty like 4 years late. I started seeing pimples all over my face, and I obsessively popped them in the mirrors for hours on end. For hours, I could just stand in front of the mirror looking for any small mistake.
And the other biggest insecurity is his manhood. He wants to give off this tough guy persona, like he doesn't care what anybody thinks. But clearly the opinions of others are the most important thing in his whole life. And I wonder what young SNEAKO would have thought about that.
You know that guy who says he doesn't give a fuck about what people think, or, you know, don't get offended if you don't like my beliefs, shit like that? That guy does care. They all care. He just wants people to think that he has a personality too. So don't be that, please. Just be a different guy. Don't be that guy.
At this stage, SNEAKO was displaying all the narcissistic tendencies you see in modern influencers. And realistically, it's hard to blame him entirely. I mean, growing up with internet fame from essentially pre-puberty probably does something to your brain. Even fully formed adults who get internet clout, or God forbid real world clout, end up making some massively critical errors in judgment or changing for the worse. But this wasn't even the start of SNEAKO's manic descent to madness.
Yo, a lot of you need to wake up! Wake up! Come back to reality! Get off of TikTok! Get off of Instagram! You're so stupid! You are so stupid!
The more fame SNEAKO was acquiring, the more that shit was eating him alive. But part of old SNEAKO was surviving. That part who shared everything with his audience, no filter. Being a man who was now incapable of handling online mockery though, things were about to get real crazy.
I've seen her fuck other men.
And you allowed the love of your life.
Hey man, shout out to Peer to Peer, man. It was a great run. It was a great run. Really wish it could have lasted longer, but yeah, it was a great run, man. Shout out to Peer to Peer for real. Shout out to Peer to Peer, man.
To get fucked by another man.
What happened to the other agreement? Why that one didn't last?
Clearly, anybody would tell you this is not the thing you share online. Cuck is the biggest trending insult, and SNEAKO, being as sensitive as he is, was not capable of handling this. And if it wasn't obvious, SNEAKO didn't like what happened at this party. He was fighting against his own brain to accept what he'd seen, while trying to still be considered cool in front of his audience, and he was failing.
I was literally having PTSD watching that. I was like having war flash. Like I just started, could not do it.
So did that get you out of your cheating ways?
What position?
No. It was missionary. Missionary legs up.
Like missionary legs up.
Legs up, yeah.
Oh no. That's such a
Fucking John.
Like in her eyes?
Yeah, like deep eye.
Ain't gonna lie, missionary legs up. Specifically, legs up is crazy though. Like for real. The pow, boo, 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 with eye contact too. Now that's tough. That's tough though, for real.
Eye contact.
Oh no.
Deep eye contact. Yeah.
Side and
she grabbed it. She's like, I want you to fuck me. I was like,
If life was a movie called Revenge of SNEAKO, this right here would have been the character building arc that turned him into a villain. A guy who grew up praised constantly, now being called Cucko all over social media. Being asked about watching the love of his life get railed in front of him. Reliving that moment.
Hey, shout out to Black Superior for the $5. Or Bleak Superior, excuse me. SNEAKO is a prime example of why what happened to Tekashi at the local LA Fitness is sometimes necessary. I think Tekashi and what happened to him is an example of exactly why that shit is necessary. But yeah. Hey man, I think people are finding out. Listen, I think the internet, one, you do have more freedom to say whatever the fuck you want. You just gotta find the right outlet to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the internet is so big. If you're not allowed to do it on YouTube, now you can do it on Rumble. Now you can do it on Kick. You know what I'm saying? You can do that shit. But at the end of the day, what transcends these platforms are these hands. All right? So say whatever the fuck you want, but just be prepared with the consequences. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I move at the end of the day. Say what you want. Just be prepared for the consequences.
That happened not once, but twice.
What does that feel like?
Nah, it's okay. It felt like somebody was like taking something from me. Like someone was violating my property. That's what it felt like. I felt like getting robbed like right in front of me. Like that's what it, yeah, it's like I don't want it. Why am I looking? I don't take any enjoyment from that.
At this time, analytically, SNEAKO's career and life seemed to be in a bit of a freefall. From the cheating on his girlfriend arc to the D'Angelo Wallace meltdown, his YouTube channel was on the slip. By November of 2021, which is
that's
when
what
this
I'm talking about
aired,
right here.
his
They
numbers
started
were the
live
lowest
streaming.
they've been in over 2 years. Now, of course, these are things he did to himself, but put yourself in this man's position. He cheated on the woman who loved him when he was nobody, got with a woman who wanted to fuck other men, and his career might be over. Some switch flipped in his brain. After all this went down, SNEAKO changed completely.
It's an interview, dummy! What do you mean you're asking mad questions? That's the point of a fucking interview!
I got bullied, right? I think most of us have had some...
You got bullied? I'm a victim.
You are passionate about something.
Bring bullying back.
I'll give y'all some inside information. There was... I don't even know if this is insider information. But before he started live streaming, SNEAKO wanted to hire me. And from the looks of it, from my conversation with him, essentially he wanted to start a channel like Playback. And he was talking to me about how like he was just inspired with what Agent is doing and how he had all of his platforms set up and all of these streams of revenue and how he got it figured out. This, that, and the third. That was just an interesting comment that he made. And looking back retrospectively, it's like, is Playback low-key responsible for SNEAKO being who he is? I don't know. I don't know. It's just interesting. Not to say that I'm blaming Playback, but I'm just thinking like, is there like what would have happened if Playback and peer-to-peer didn't exist? Would SNEAKO be who he is right now? Like for real. I don't know. And whatchamacallit? Shout to Dylan for the 20. Yeah, shout out to Dylan for the 20, man. Keep it up. I will, man. I definitely will. I thought SNEAKO didn't like Playback. No. You got it twisted. SNEAKO, from my understanding, it's kind of like, listen, I think on Let's Keep It a Buck, we have certain inspirations. not inspirations. That's the wrong way. Let me say it again. On Let's Keep It a Buck, when you're trying to go a live stream, I think it's in just any creator platform, just trying to grow a product, right? I think it's important to do market research and look at what's out there and what's working, right? So for us, I should probably move that. So for us, I'm gonna just keep it make it a blunt example. We don't agree with a lot of what Fresh and Fit say. You know what I'm saying? But we also, and we don't agree with what H3H3 says. A lot of the times. You don't agree with what Joe Budden says every single time. But I do think there's a level of respect to how they're growing their platforms. And I do think it's important to look at these other platforms and just see what's working for them and how you can implement what they're working and what they're doing onto your shit. So when it comes to SNEAKO, like he was looking at playback and what Agent was doing and was like, there's a blueprint right there. How can I implement what Agent and them are doing to my own content? You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think it's a lack of respect thing with SNEAKO and playback. It's just a matter of like he disagrees with a lot of what Agent and Low has to say. Agent and Low disagrees with a lot of what SNEAKO has to say. And that's it. I feel like if they met up tomorrow, it wouldn't be fisticuffs. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be fisticuffs. They might have discussions over certain shit. But I don't think it's gonna be like, yo, it's on site type shit. I don't think it's gonna be, yo, I'm gonna try to avoid them as much as possible. It's just, yo, we disagree on these things. We make content online, so let's have a discussion. Aldo in the chat says SNEAKO and Destiny are cool and they disagree on a lot. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And that dynamic too is interesting. Cause when I first saw them debating, I was like, there is no way these two can actually fucking like agree on anything. Let alone be friends. But for them to act like Destiny is, I've seen Destiny actually physically say like, yo, SNEAKO, I consider you a friend despite all the disagreements that we have. You know what I'm saying? Dylan, never mind. I know Dylan did your super chat again. Dylan for 20. In my opinion, let me move this. In my opinion, SNEAKO felt that his old ideas weren't doing it for him, so he changed up the reverse. In the end, truth is somewhere in the middle, but it's hard to be alone in the middle without path. But it's all content. I disagree. I just feel like there were certain talking points that SNEAKO just couldn't get off within his videos that he could get off on a live stream, right? And I think when he started live streaming, that just showed his true colors more than the more thought out scripted videos. But I do agree with your second point in terms of, and I have this theory as well with Let's Keep It a Buck too, of like, there's a reason why when we do Host of the Year, me and Sage are competing for 3rd and 4th. And this is the second year in a row Damo and Omar are competing for 1st place. And it's because I feel like people get easily attached. People, it's easier to follow someone. It's easier to be passionate about someone, and passionate about someone's beliefs and their platform when they're more 10 toes with their arguments. You know what I'm saying? I do agree that most of the time truth is in the middle. But what's going to get you the clicks, what's going to get you to really ride hard for someone is for that one person to know what their beliefs are and really be 10 toes with it. In my opinion. What kind of content you be streaming first time here? Honestly, just one, I come from like NBA YouTube, so we talk about basketball here and there. 2, I just react to videos I see online. Talk about content creation a lot. The life of content creators, content creator news on these streams. Despite the streams not even being just about content creation anymore. So
bullying is necessary.
Now SNEAKO was a certified bag chaser. He was chasing that dream lifestyle that he'd seen all over social media, and he published a video claiming he'd be a millionaire within a year.
I'm not rich yet, but I'll be rich at the end of the year. Just watch.
And if you know anything about SNEAKO, you know, retrospectively, he wasn't wrong. But how exactly was he going to get to this point? Anyone who followed him at this time knew he was making more and more nihilistic videos, where he himself in retrospect talked about it being the lowest point of his life.
There was a time, type of one in the chat if you remember, where I had no drive, I had no purpose, I had no motivation. I posted this video called Nothing Matters. I don't care about anything. I didn't believe in God. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think anything mattered in the world.
He had no passion. He believed in nothing. He loved nothing. So what changed? How did he go from that to what he is now? What woke SNEAKO up?
Money.
You're amongst professors from the war room, handpicked by the top G, top striker, Emory Andrew Tate III. You are finally in the right place at the right time. You are the only person who can make this work, and you're also the only person who can fuck this up.
SNEAKO was one of the early adopters of young men content creators who were infected by the Tate mind virus. Like many others who were at their lowest in situations they hated.
I also think SNEAKO is just a contrarian too. I don't want to keep pausing, but I feel like certain people in this world, they will always just go with what's against the grain. You know what I'm saying? Cause I feel like what his belief system right now was not against the grain 10 years ago. But now that he's more vocal about the things he's talking about.
Living life day after day just miserable and hopeless, Andrew Tate arrived at the perfect time to give them purpose. He spoke to them seemingly directly about things that they wanted to hear, and not just wanted, but needed. And SNEAKO was of course all ears.
She's a hoe. She's a stupid Bitches are the first one, like you're like, yeah, support women, block, and then as soon as the bitch like texts the guy that she already likes, you stupid
SNEAKO is now live streaming and consuming Tate's message, agreeing with it completely. And so too was his audience, which was growing month on month. I mean, it's not a small subset of men who believe this, want to believe this, and want to get involved in the movement. This took SNEAKO from multiple year low numbers to blowing up like few people will ever experience. From earning a few $1,000s a month grinding videos he was no longer passionate about, to being crazy on a webcam and earning over $100,000 in a single month. Both his channels were hitting peaks of viewership, subscriber numbers were insane, and he'd found his calling.
I'm telling you right now, y'all, that live streaming, hey, this is also why it's fun for me, and it's also partly why I'm doing it. That live streaming bag is just different. I ain't gonna lie. From like holistically speaking, the fact that you can make money while you record and essentially record like 20 videos in one sitting is just so different compared to, you know, doing like the traditional YouTube route of scripting out something, trying to settle on a video idea, doing all this editing, doing all this research just for it to potentially flop. Shit is just, hey, that shit can just be hella tiring. And once you know what I'm saying? Once you try live streaming out and you have success with it, it's that type of shit that you feel like you can't even go back. You can't even go back. It's like when a creator first gets their first editor. It's like, damn, I've been editing all my videos this time, and now someone can just do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Shit is just crazy. Shout out to the kick subs, by the way. I saw y'all lurking. Come on, man.
It just so happened that this calling was counter to his old self, fed into his narcissism in the worst possible ways, and quickly turned him into somebody.
Yeah, Nolan, they used to stream at 9:30, bro. That shit was crazy.
Self.
It's not bullying. He's a fucking pussy who plays Minecraft all day. Grow the fuck up. And I thought he was 14 because he looks like he's 14. Dude's 18. You're a grown-ass man saying my meetup is a safe space?
My meet and greet is a fucking safe space.
You fucking bitch.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me? All these men who watch him, I don't like bullying.
The influence of Top G himself had sent SNEAKO down the red pill rabbit hole. The Matrix was now the enemy. He was finally awake. The agents were coming, and the only way to save himself was to emulate Andrew Tate as much as possible. Not just in language used or opinions held, but in mannerisms and the way he even carried himself, which seems somewhat...
Hey, young Don's another one too. I ain't gonna lie. Of like, yo, I did not see young Don having this career arc. I'm just talking about like, yo, he really ended up being this type of creator for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's cooled off a little bit now from the live streaming in general. But I was like, yo, really, the animation guy, him? He turned into a red pill social commentary live streamer? Like, that shit is just crazy, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
To being a mentally strong alpha male. Having to follow another man so completely to the point you lose all sense of self doesn't seem very mentally resilient.
He actually hasn't cooled off.
Tired of hearing the
I remember he went on a break
YouTube
recently,
Twitch,
though.
not being able to say the words that we really want to say, not being able to talk about the opinions that we really want to talk about. Big tech is censoring all of us. The Matrix is attacking in real time.
SNEAKO was now selling self-help courses just like his idol, dumping the girlfriend who he watched get fucked, spitting the same talking points and being a very high-value man who can do what he wants. And everyone who disagreed with him were beta males, cooks, soy boys, bots, and NPCs, the pre-programmed responses of people within this movement. After this, he started to get really out of control, platforming alt-right, white nationalists on his stream, and agreeing with them as a mixed race person, irresponsibly parroting this race real.
I ain't gonna lie. This whole red pill movement as well is the only reason why I even know of Nick Fuentes. Like, fuck y'all for real for platforming that dude. Like, I'm being so, like, when he first appeared on, I think SNEAKO was the first one who really, like, platformed him for real. And that really caught my attention, at least. I was like, who the fuck is Nick Fuentes? And everyone was like, you don't know Nick Fuentes? He's banned on every platform. Like, and I was sitting here like, yo, every platform? Like, what the fuck? Every platform? But yeah, he's one of those people that I'm being so serious. I would not know if it wasn't for the SNEAKOs, the Just Pearly things of the Adam 22s of the world. Like Nick Fuentes specifically, y'all have platformed too much. If it was just one live stream, that would have been fine. But I'm seeing him everywhere now. Like, what the fuck is going on? And for someone who's banned off of every platform, he seems to be on a lot of platforms.
Real shit to his audience and letting people spew bigotry to his young, impressionable fans. Believing every statistic and conspiracy theory that came out of his mouth. And pretty soon he was anti just about everything accepted in current political
Although
I
think
media.
that's what I'm talking about.
Nothing was real if it came out the fake news. And if someone believed in science, they were agents of the Matrix. Kanye was, of course, right about the people running the world, and the only way to escape this simulation was listen to Andrew Tate. And of course, all of this came to a head in the only way it possibly could. SNEAKO became the martyr he wanted to be. The Matrix banned his YouTube channels where most of his revenue and his literal life's work existed for the last decade. 10 years of videos that his previous audience still loved, that they still watch to this day, that still spoke to the people who grew up with the realness of old SNEAKO.
That shit would hurt
just
me,
gone
dog.
in an instant.
Lie,
they are trying to control us, and these are all the methods, these are all the ways, and this is how you could see it in when you walk outside, you could
that
see
shit would hurt
right in front
me,
of your face
dog.
how we're being controlled.
I know he spent a lot of time on those
NPCs just talk
videos
to
too.
them. They're walking around programmed.
Like, imagine if that was a musician, dog.
I got canceled.
Like, like, my bad. I don't want to keep pausing, but just imagine, like, if you're a musician coming up, right? And let's just say the music industry was set up in a way where you can only upload on Spotify. Or at the very least, most creators just upload on Spotify. That's how you built your platform. And then just the next day, like, all your work is gone and you can't find it anywhere else. Because everyone, again, uploads primarily on Spotify. Like, that shit is crazy, though.
Exposing a lot of the truths about the world.
And of course, this didn't force introspection. No, SNEAKO didn't accept that breaking rules and being warned and then continuing to do so was simply an actions meets consequences outcome, which forced the exact scenario you would expect. Being banned by big tech doesn't help anybody. It forces you even further into the arms
That's what I'm
of
saying.
the most extreme opinions on the internet. People seek a tribe, especially those who are the target of what they deem as injustice, especially those who seek and even need acceptance. So when cast out of big tech and mainstream society, you are immediately accepted by others who have been, and subsequently their audience. And this is a massive, easily monetizable audience of people. So what do you have to lose by accepting this audience and doubling down? Not very much.
But Lasanabi, I would fucking kick your ass. I'd break your face. You wouldn't be able to maintain eye contact with me for 10 seconds without looking. You're a fucking bitch.
At this stage, it's pretty obvious that SNEAKO was no longer fighting against his ego. He had totally accepted who he was, that he was not an issue, and that it was just everybody else. The whole world was the problem. This is around the point where Moist Critical aka Charlie enters the arena. Charlie made a video laughing about one of SNEAKO's friends, Fresh, from the Fresh and Fit Manosphere Guru Red Pill podcast.
Triple-digit notch count, he's in the quadruples.
There is no reality in the entirety of the fucking multiverse where this man has slept with one woman, let alone over 1,000 of them.
SNEAKO then decided that, just like the D'Angelo Wallace situation, the best course of action would be to act like a baby. Just find the lowest hanging fruit that could possibly, maybe, emotionally hurt Charlie, and just go to town with it.
But you realize like how anybody critical of red pill, like alpha male ideologies is always kind of like this, like pretty much like a white guy who looks like he doesn't really go outside that much. Someone just texted me. I'm not gonna say names. Someone texted me. He's in a monogamous relationship. This is his girl.
Now, bringing Charlie's long-term girlfriend into this was clearly too far, as anybody would tell you, as she had nothing to do with the situation. But then again, nor did SNEAKO. If somebody talks shit about your friend, I don't know why you have to talk shit about that person's girlfriend. It just seems very childish.
That's also why I don't see myself doing YouTube in 5-7 years, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, cause that shit is something else. But even just like a month ago, and not saying like that was this is why this right here is why, but for the people in the Let's Keep It a Buck Discord and the Let's Keep It a Buck community, y'all know exactly what comment I'm talking about. There's that one comment on one of my Instagram posts. Bro tagged Omar, tagged Sage. I don't know if bro tagged Damo, but he was just speaking some foul shit. You know what I'm saying? Brought family members, brought my girl into the conversation when she doesn't want to be on social media whatsoever. Like that shit is just corny to me. You know what I'm saying? So.
But this is, of course, the same pattern of behavior from before. Just projecting his insecurities onto others by making fun of them for things like their looks, even when it's completely unnecessary and completely untrue.
But like shit
Charlie
like this
made
is just,
a video responding
it's hard to
this,
avoid.
Giving fuel to the flames and using this opportunity to clown on SNEAKO himself.
Especially when you talk about other creators
and has very public
like
temper
that.
tantrums like a child who
It's
didn't
not
get
tier,
the
it's not
Spider-Man toy they wanted for Christmas.
I saw Cuties last night and it was pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I saw the cover and I got clickbaited. So did you. You got clickbaited. This is one of the movies that's gonna age well.
Clickbaited?
It legitimately couldn't mean less coming from a guy who openly defends a softcore child porn production. But what SNEAKO's talking about here isn't so much an open relationship, it's cuckoldry. You have watched your girl get fucked in front of you. You're clearly not really alright with this situation. You're for some reason forcing yourself to be okay with it. Pretty sad. So this is always in the back of my mind when he starts critiquing my relationship.
Charlie then moved on with his life and continued to be successful, just ignoring the fact SNEAKO was still constantly trying to perpetuate this sad, one-sided little beef. SNEAKO was legitimately spending his time seething, watching Charlie's videos, tweeting about Charlie, constantly digging at him to try and get a response, and eventually Charlie replied on Twitter with some choice words. This was the first time Charlie responded in 3 months of SNEAKO doing this, at which point the increasingly unhinged SNEAKO went live on Rumble, also known as the Shadow Realm, and started dancing around with a gun, smoking a cigar like some kind of cartoon character.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips.
Charlie, with potentially one of the most viral clips of 2023, absolutely eviscerated SNEAKO's entire existence.
But he's a fucking imbecile, you absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute fucking idiot. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips. You look fucking stupid here. SNEAKO,
I
you
first
beating
saw
me
that
in a
shit.
fight doesn't unfuck your girlfriend from the
No
numerous
way,
men
bro.
that have sex with her in front of you. It doesn't do anything. Everything I've said still stands. Nothing changes. It doesn't even salvage your ego.
But what many people missed is that this whole interaction showed just how much of a pathetic mess SNEAKO had become. See, SNEAKO challenging Charlie to a fight because Charlie's much shorter than he is and weighs considerably less is just a pattern of behaviour. He's done this before. He did it with D'Angelo Wallace because he thought he could win.
It's just interesting, and I can see it on both sides too, but it's fun. It's funny to see when people become judgmental of other people and they don't even see the hypocrisy in their words. It's very, very, very funny because a lot of the red pill guys they've built their platforms off of like, yo, we're not soft, we're not sensitive, X, Y, and Z. But I swear to God, most of y'all, like, y'all are some of the most sensitive people I know. Y'all are some of the most sensitive people I know, bro. Y'all throw tantrums about shit that you shouldn't be throwing tantrums over. Like, you really threw a tantrum off of D'Angelo Wallace saying you're for the streets? That's soft. I ain't gonna lie, that's soft. That's soft. You went on like a 3-month tirade because Moist Critical wanted to, call you out? That's soft. That's soft. But I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are just way more hypocritical than they think they are, and it's funny because they don't even see how or why they're being hypocritical. And I feel like the same could be said for me. I think the funny part is like the people who are talking don't even know that they're being hypocritical. So maybe I'm being hypocritical right now. And low-key, it's funny.
Because just like jumping to people's physical appearance, this is the only way he can respond to somebody, and his ego gets a bump trying to bully people who he considers weaker than himself. But if we roll back the clock, we see that SNEAKO has been fronting this whole time, that this is all bravado, this tough guy act is just that of a scared, insecure little man who wants the approval of his audience, and most importantly, the approval of Daddy Tate.
I'd love to do it. Let's get SNEAKO, Danny Moner, Andrew Callahan in that bitch.
How do you think you'd do against SNEAKO in MMA?
I would absolutely fucking ravage him. I would destroy him, and I wouldn't stop when the ref pulled me off. I would choke him and until he gets brain damage. Just kidding.
This is Brandon Buckingham from The Buckingham Show, a real cold-ass rider. SNEAKO, the man who hates cancel culture, accused Brandon of threatening to R-word his girlfriend, and that is a quote.
Brandon Buckingham. He literally threatened to R-word my girlfriend. Bro, literally said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend. Literally said that. And he said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend, bro.
This dude said he is going to R-word my girlfriend.
Bro, nothing warrants saying I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend. That's some school shooter vibes, bro. Yeah, that's some white boy school shooter shit. Saying you're gonna R-word my girlfriend? He said that? Yes. Word for word. I'm going to R-word your girlfriend.
This, of course, isn't what happened, factually. But SNEAKO spread that rumour to hundreds of thousands of people.
What actually happened,
trying
though?
to ruin Brandon's life based on a lie. Brandon's sin here was telling SNEAKO he was a fan of his videos and whether he wanted to have a friendly boxing match like most YouTubers were doing at the time, which SNEAKO replied with, "Get off my dick," like the true egomaniac he is. Brandon then replied on social media with this.
Firstly, I don't run trains on girls. I've never done that. I've never tag teamed a girl with a guy. That's not something I'm into. I don't do that. It was merely an attempt to provoke him. SNEAKO FaceTimes me literally crying like he had just seen the worst shit in his life. He tells me he thought we were friends. Why would I say something like that to him? He was just joking with me. Please delete the story.
SNEAKO decided to go public with the clip we just saw with the R-word my girlfriend accusations, and this worked. SNEAKO was the bigger creator, which usually means people believe them. Some of Brandon's fans, and more importantly some of his friends, believed it, and Brandon ended up in a mental hospital. Since then, Brandon's been growing on YouTube and doing great. He's been also offering to fight SNEAKO the whole time, as they have a legit beef due to that slander. But since Brandon is the same size and is clearly no stranger to conflict from his having boxed Ice Poseidon already, trained Muay Thai, has experience in grappling, BJJ, SNEAKO actively avoids even mentioning Brandon's name anymore, which is hilarious.
Hold up. Complete side note. Y'all see this, bro? EDP 445 is selling 1 hour interviews for on a sale $100. That shit is sick, dog.
Hilarious.
That
If you
shit
go
is
on
sick.
SNEAKO's Twitter, because he has a little collage he's made of boys who have made videos talking about him or said stuff he doesn't like. SNEAKO routinely posts this image on Twitter as if it's some kind of own to be doing this. It's like it's the back of his science book in high school and he has a crush on all these guys. Though of course he calls them cooks, soy boys, NPCs and bots.
I will say though, to SNEAKO's defense, a lot of social commentary YouTubers just hopped on the train, like for real. It wasn't because they had some sort of personal disdain with SNEAKO. You know what I'm saying? They literally just saw a wave. I think the same thing when Velma first came out. My bad. I think the same thing when Velma the show first came out. A bunch of videos, yo, Velma is trash X, Y, and Z, and it's not because they truly cared. It's not because they're real Scooby-Doo fans. It's truly off of, yo, this is the thing to dunk on right now. Let's make a video on it. In the social commentary space, SNEAKO and Andrew Tate, they are the thing to dunk on right now. So when your livelihood is, one, doing social commentary, and two, dunking on dumb people, a lot of people just started making videos on SNEAKO. Same thing with the guy we're watching right now. So
now the reason SNEAKO is now claiming he won't fight Brandon is that Brandon is suing him for defamation, but SNEAKO already admitted he would
the video
never fight
essays have been copy pasting
before the
SNEAKO
lawsuit
content for
had
months.
surfaced.
That's what I'm saying though. It is getting tiring.
Man, I don't really feel like it. It's just not really.
And I'm gonna keep it a bean. That's the reason why I kind of felt on even doing this on stream, because there's been so many things already talked about it, but like them, might as well get on the train. Like for real. Shit.
I'd rather sit at home and yell at a camera, tell jokes, than risk my manhood falling flat for Brandon Buckingham. If I lose the fight, I don't give my time to clown chasers.
Brandon, of course, claims there's no reason they couldn't fight and it wouldn't impact a defamation lawsuit, which exists due to SNEAKO damaging his brand and reputation with false sexual assault allegations. Now, of course, as with everything SNEAKO does, there's a lot of double standards here and inconsistencies. Specifically, what does SNEAKO actually think about false allegations?
For all the guys who were falsely accused of shit they didn't do by bitches who were lying like you, go to jail right now.
So that's what he believes, and then that's what he did to Brandon to try and ruin his life. This is all real easy to find, which is why it's odd to me people respect SNEAKO when he claims anyone who won't fight him is a pussy who runs away, but won't fight Brandon, the person who actively wants to fight him. He also claims everyone who talks bad about him is a cook, despite being the one who's admitted to letting men have sex with his girlfriend in front of him, not once, but multiple times, and even saying every man should experience this at one point, and that he started to get used to watching it.
Why go back?
Yeah.
Because, okay, the second time, which is 2 days ago, like, it wasn't as bad. I'm less traumatized now, yeah.
So it's real odd that SNEAKO has an audience essentially built on being a secure man who other men look up to, and literally selling them a course on how to be like him, how to be successful. But he's one of the most insecure men on the planet, who is selling a fake tough guy persona. A single word sends him into months of incoherent screeching, using the same insults like he's a doll with a fucking string in the back.
Talking about when I say bots, when I say soy boy, just bots. Like, cause it's in a mall, just bots. Anyone who's in a mall is a bot. Dude, if you're in the mall just for like leisure, you're a bot. and fucking bots mad. Bots mad. Bots mad. Bots mad. Bots mad. NPCs.
Yeah, I don't think SNEAKO has been canceled. I just think, yeah, I definitely don't think he's been canceled. I just think he's leaning towards a certain ideology, and is really banking off of it, in my opinion. Because I don't even think he's been. I mean, he's been deplatformed on his main platform. I'd say that, but no, he definitely still has a platform. He definitely still has a following, X, Y, and Z. He definitely still has that. I don't think it's any similar from, like, I don't know, CNN and Fox beefing at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, CNN is the left side of YouTube, Fox is the red pill side of YouTube. I don't really see a difference. But I do think cancel culture is still real, though. I do still think cancel culture is real. I also think in that cancel culture is a spectrum of severity in terms of what you do. Like certain people, it'll just be yo, I'ma just dunk on you for the next couple of days and we're gonna move on after the fact. And some shit is like, yo, we gonna dunk on you for years, but we're still gonna move on after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, perfect example, I was reminded of it like yesterday. Yo, bro, remember when people were on Zoe Kravitz's ass last year after the Oscars? That shit lasted for what, like 4 days, 5 days? But then there's shit like the Karl Malone shit, where we've been dunking on him for decades. You know what I'm saying? For decades. And then there's other shit like EDP, where bro is finding, you know, he's having difficulty getting a home. He's having, I believe he's actually on like sex offenders, like shit like that. There's just levels to it. But I do think it still exists though. Like for real. I do think it exists. The fact that Nick Fuentes has a platform is crazy. But
I'm telling you, these people are just genuine bots.
I mean, even after Charlie absolutely destroyed this man's whole credibility in the response video, SNEAKO's reply was just the same as always.
Who looks more like a pedophile? Who would you rather not bring around?
I also think the idea of canceling someone is assuming that there is this one entity that either agrees or disagrees with you. Because I think what happened with SNEAKO too is, okay, he made this pivot in his ideology, in his content. There's certain people that unsubscribed. There's certain people that stopped watching his shit. There's certain people that started hating his content. And then on the contrary, there's people that started loving his content. People that rode hard for his new rode hard and really enjoy his new style of content. So it's more so like a give and take. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Young Don when he did his pivot. Same thing with Aiden. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be people like with Aiden when he was making all those comments. There's gonna be certain people, and when he's doing like his new Andrew Tate mogul shit, there's gonna be certain people that, okay, this is getting weird, this is getting out of hand, X, Y, and Z. And then there's gonna be this other section of like, oh, I fuck with the new Aiden. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do think it's harder to get canceled than some people make it seem. And the consequences are not as severe as some people make it seem, but it does happen more often now, is what I'll say.
On your children. That dude with the beard and the fentanyl hair looking like he sleeps under a bridge with me.
SNEAKO is now just a walking L. He's upped his monetization, upped his controversy, and he's trying to cling on to any relevance long enough to make his money before the internet forgets about him, which will likely be far more painful to such a massive narcissist than anything else that could happen. He tries his best to be Andrew Tate, but like every other Tate clone, he just doesn't measure up. In fact, SNEAKO was so off the rails, even Tate, before he was in jail, didn't want anything to do with him.
The reason I can't go on the emergency meeting, I'm a risk. I'm a risk to have on. From what I'm hearing behind the scenes, I'm a risk. I was talking to Andrew for a long time last night,
And that dude is saying I'm a risk.
Now tell me, what about this following clip makes you think of a secure alpha male?
He needs to go to the gym?
Yeah.
Why do you think that he's unhappy? Like, why do you think he's on antidepressants? You don't think it's fat to go work out?
Huh?
It's pretty to want to exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling up his little collage, asking his new girlfriend, or at least a girl he's hanging out with, to rate the attractiveness of the men he doesn't like. Constantly posting on Twitter about the Matrix cancelling him and how the only way to escape is to buy his self-help course. Which I would ask, if you can't even help yourself, how are you going to help other people? So that's why everyone hates SNEAKO. From an introspective, charismatic guy.
I wonder what the next pivot is, though. Like, for real. Plot Hockey says SNEAKO is canceled, bro. Who's on Rumble, G? Come on. I mean, I guess it's just their definition of what being canceled is, but he definitely still has a big-ass platform. It's just moved somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I do think YouTube deplatforming him, Twitch deplatforming him has suppressed his platform, right? And it's capped it off to a level where it can't be. But I don't think he's canceled. He still has a big enough platform to be doing this full time. I don't see anything happening soon that'll end it. But again, my next question is like, again, what's that next pivot though? What's that next pivot? Cause Playback made that comment about just pearly things on their last video. And I'm seeing it with No Jumper as well. I'm seeing it with the mediocre tutorials as well. Like, I'm just looking at their numbers. I'm looking at the numbers of a lot of these red pill dudes. And heck, even Playback to a certain extent. People are really getting tired of these red pill talking points. People are getting really tired of these relationship topics that have just over the last couple of 2 to 4 years. People are getting really, really, really fucking tired of this shit. And creators are starting to notice. They're starting to notice. I think that's the reason why Mediocre Tutorials is cooled off of the static videos, and that's why he started live streaming. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why No Jumper. I think that's why Just Pearly Things. They're, if anything, they're moving away from these things that were their bread and butter, the relationship conversations, and just bringing more extreme people on there. You know what I'm saying? Bringing more extreme people on there, because for the last couple of years, these red pill ideologies were the bar for what extreme content is, just saying how it is type shit. But now that shit is getting stale, how do I take it up a notch? Bring on Nick Fuentes. That's the answer. Bring on a neo-Nazi. That's the answer apparently. And I'm scared, man. And I'm low-key scared as to what this next pivot is. Low-key scared, man. But shout out to Kira TV for the video. That was a great video. Would not be doing anything like that soon. But that was a great video though. That was a great video. And let me bring up Ali's super chat. Ali for 5. Not to get too religious, the fact that my faith has been used the way it is by SNEAKO and Tate's pissed me the fuck off. Damn, I'm sorry about that. I know people have been making that comment too recently, and I low key agree. Like they have essentially used this new faith that they found as an excuse to just justify what they're doing. That's essentially what it is. It's not even on, because they didn't believe this until their content pivoted. Like they didn't believe in that ideology until their platforms became what it is, and then they started believing in this ideology. It wasn't the reverse. I think someone who's genuine with it is actually Young Don, right? Like Young Don really took that pivot into Christianity, or you know, it seems like he had a a personal spiritual journey. He embraced being Christian more, X, Y, and Z. And then his content started revolving around that. But with SNEAKO and with Tate, it was the other way around, where like the content came first and then he became religious. But with Young Don, I think from what I saw at least was he became religious first, and then
I'd love to see that little soy boy come up here and mess with me. You all know he ain't gonna say anything to my face. Is that Charlie?
No. This is insane. This going on the side is insane. This going on the side is crazy, yo.
What? Is that Charlie? Hey, yo, baby.
What?
Can you and your man take this into the other room, please? I can't hear myself think with all that love making you're doing.
Fine,
Thank you so
whatever.
much,
No
baby.
problem.
Yeah.
No problem, Sneaky. No problem.
It's
Sneaky.
SNEAKO. It's SNEAKO.
Hey, yo.
Yo, chat. Charlie is at my door. What should I say to him?
Yo.
What do you want, you little soy boy loser? Nice. What the hell is that? Chad. Charlie's he's at my bedroom door. What do I do?
Yo. That's funny.
Hey! This is private property!
Why are his legs like that, yo? Hey, yo, why are his legs like that, bro?
You better leave! He's not leaving.
And is that a cock lock? What the
Okay, alright, fine. Sorry, Charlie! But you asked for this! Chad, I'm out of ammo. I gotta find another clip. It's called
Mags.
a magazine.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny, yo. That's funny.
You better get out of here.
That's funny. That's so creepy too, by the way.
Charlie, I'm actually a huge fan. I watch your stuff all the time.
Charlie Wick.
Just let me turn off my stream and I don't know, maybe we can talk this over, okay?
Yo.
Let go of me!
Hey, yo!
Andrew Tate wept.
Oh! What the fuck?
There's nothing that gets me more hard than my favorite movie, Paddington 2. This movie is like if you combined Belle Delphine's tiny little tits and something else that's good, I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today. See ya.
Hey, that's funny though. That's funny. I ain't gonna lie. That was funny, man. That was funny, yo. That was funny.